Welcome to the December 12th, 2023 regular meeting of the Mason City Schools Board of Education. Board has been in a work session and is ready to convene our meeting. So the next item on our agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'd please stand and join me. All right, next item on our agenda, we have the approval of minutes from our October and November meetings. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Sean?
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mrs. Abachi?
Yes.
Mrs. Yangling?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
5-0.
All right. It's great to see so many faces in the crowd tonight. For those that have maybe not been to a school board meeting before or in a while, what we typically have next on our agenda is a superintendent's presentation, and we've got about a 15 or so minute presentation, after which there will be a natural pause in our meeting that we'll take a break for those of you who have other items on your evening to get to. So we appreciate your attendance, and without further ado, Jonathan?
That's great. Thank you so much. So if you have not been to a board meeting recently, we have started a tradition of having a wayfinding moment. And the wayfinding moment is put together and crafted by Tracy Carson, Amanda Ullman, and they do a beautiful job of making sure that we're highlighting the moments and the people that help people make sense about what is the Mason experience that people deserve and talk about. And tonight's special Mason wayfinding moment is a tribute to our very own Kevin Weiss.
Yes. Yes, tonight's wayfinding video celebrates a man who for 2 decades has wisely helped the Mason City School District find our way through explosive growth, a great recession, and a global pandemic, all as a stabilizing wayfinder whose investment in Mason has helped keep a great thing going.
Kevin, in his service on the school board for a very long time, has had the vision to see us through ups and downs, but more than just ups and downs, he's had the vision to have the objective in mind on how we were going to grow as a community and the importance of the schools in growing as a community. So he has had the idea of the campuses and the buildings and how to fund it. But not only just how to fund it on a trajectory where we don't have a lot of debt. Kevin's also seen generations of students and faculty and administration and different leaders. And through it all, he's even-tempered. He is a great wisdom. He brings people together. And he really becomes the embodiment of so much that we value as Mason Schools. Kevin serves this community not just on the school board, but he's been a faith partner of mine. He's been a great friend. He's been a supporter, along with Marsha, of Mason Schools Foundation. And through that all, he has turned Mason from, I'll say, a little bit of a sleepy place to one of the best school districts in the state of Ohio. So for all of that, all we can say is a deeply held thank you. And one more thing. I've been lucky enough to call Kevin Wise my friend. And he's a great friend. No better friend. So he's there when you need him, and you get emotional. He is steadfast, a wayfinder, and a solid guy.
You have overseen just tremendous change in Mason City Schools, and you've seen just the explosion, the growth, and the development, and just how far we've come and been a part of so many good things with Mason City Schools. It's been an honor to know you, and I know you've worked so hard for all of us in our district. It's been a huge pleasure of mine to teach your kids, Justin and Lauren, and I didn't teach Olivia, but I knew Olivia, and Justin with Ashley in class, and that was really neat how that all worked out. Really happy, and I know our paths will cross again in the future, but I wish you all the best, and thank you so much for what you've done for Mason City Schools.
Kevin, it's really hard to imagine that it's been 21, 22 years since I was board president and helped choose you to be our newest board member. And I can remember during interviews, lots of well-qualified candidates, but you stood out because you had a young family that would grow with you in this district and your financial acumen. And I think because of the complication of school finance, that was something that we didn't have represented in any of the other board members, and I saw that as a real strength for you. And I think Marcia was every much a partner to you in your tenure on the board. And Justin and Lauren and Olivia, I'm pretty sure Olivia was just a baby when you were appointed. You know, they all grew up with you as a board member, and that it wasn't always easy to navigate in a school system like ours. But they thrived, and you did too. And I think it makes the role of a board member so much more special when you're doing things for the community's kids, but it adds to the passion when it's for your kids as well. Something that will live on in these buildings, and the kids that benefited from curriculum choices we made, hiring of superintendents and treasurers, and will be felt for many, many years. So thank you so much for your service.
A lot of people ask me, you know, what are some things that you learned about Dad through him being on the school board? Integrity, vision, relationships, the importance of education, all of those things are so important to him. I think he really brought that to the school board over the last 21 years. But to be really honest with you, I think I would have learned all those lessons had he not been on the school board, because one thing about Dad is he's a great dad. You've done so much for the community. You've taught me so much about the importance of education. You've missed a lot of Taco Tuesdays for your school board meetings, so we have lots to make up for, but we're so proud of you, and we know that the future is still bright.
Tracy, thank you so much for putting that together. What a beautiful story of Kevin's time in here and his journey. So let's please give you a hand. Thank you very much. Kevin, just to round this out, we do have a few other items we just want to share with you, because I think you'll appreciate these as well. But and before I get started, I think just context for just a second, because it's always good to have context when you have different generations in the room. 2002, just a couple things that were going on in 2002. Does anybody remember 2002? Some of us remember. I think some don't remember 2002, but some do. 2002, some of the hot items in Christmas gifts in 2002, Xboxes were hot. Those are still hot today, right? Xbox, still around. You've probably heard of the Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was a hot movie during that time. Again, still hot, so it's just coming back around. Things are getting recycled around. One of the things that you might remember was Winter Olympics were in Salt Lake, so some of you might remember that. Miami won at the Rose Bowl back then, if you remember that. It was kind of a big deal. You came in, your leadership, right on the tail end of our country going through 9/11 and some of the turmoil that was going into that. You were coming in as a leader in a brave move. The European Union was expanding at the time. The Euro was going on. You've heard of Tom Brady. Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl. I just like to drop Tom Brady's name in our meetings. But he won his first Super Bowl back then. And I know I think, graduating from college somewhere around then. Let's look at the numbers before we get into that. 2000, so here's some numbers. We know you love numbers, Kevin. You've given us a lot of numbers to think about. 2 decades of decisions, three superintendents, 3 treasurers, 14 board members. You hired 2 superintendents on your time here. You've hired 2 treasurers, approved hiring of 802 Mason quality educators in your time here. That is a lot of employees, and that's awesome. And graduated over 15,000 comets out into the world, ready for taking on the world. So those are the numbers, and those are impressive. You, over 2 decades, have given us stability. You've given us leadership. You've been a model for us, and we appreciate that. Your financial acumen has helped us, and we have grown and changed a lot. I think it's, how much have we grown, Tracy? I think the next slide shows 30% is the student enrollment increase since you started. So this district has changed not just in its demographics, but it's changed just in sheer number and volume here. You have been a wise financial counselor and a steward of the public's dollars, and I know people, and we appreciate that and your thoughtfulness. You have an entrepreneurial mindset. You challenge us to think about how can we do things differently and more efficiently, and I love that kind of conversation and dialogue that you challenge us with. Because of your leadership, we've been able to sustain excellence and a trajectory for success. And so if you look here, 0 debt is something that we've talked a lot about, and you have left a lasting legacy with our financial. You and the rest of the board have helped us to make decisions to become debt-free. Other things I just want to point out, because I know people know this, but you're an encourager. You've been an encourager to me personally. You've been an encourager to other board members, encourager to our team and to our public. I know people look up to you and trust your judgment. You're community-minded. You have a heart of service. You have a heart for the students here at Mason City Schools and the staff, and you have invested and challenged us to invest in our classrooms and making sure that here, 9.4% total staffing increase since 2002 to 2023, and you can see some of the other numbers that you have helped guide us along. And those are, if you think of any boards that work out there in the public sector, these are impressive numbers, and I know that you and the rest of the board have worked diligently behind the scenes to make this happen and help us along as leaders. And finally, I'll finish with this. These are all great things that you're doing, but one of the things that I think we all appreciate most about you, and you've heard this, is you're a great friend. You're an amazing father. You're a husband that models the way for all of us, loving your wife and your best friend and challenging us to do the same. A model like that is something that we can all look up to, and we're going to miss that on a every other week basis, but we know you'll be around to continue to guide us along. So thank you for your wise counsel and your encouragement along the way. This would not be a normal presentation or a perfect presentation without student voice. And so I do want to, at this time, close out and I have a couple gifts for you that we'll get a picture with you at the end, but I'd like to invite some friends down to the floor, because student voice is why we're here. It's why we're all here. It's why you run for the board. It's why we serve in our roles. And these are voices that are a gift to our community, and all of the investments that you have over time challenged us to make and helped us think through, and building the school to the size and all the extraordinary opportunities. It has given these students the opportunity to show their talent even tonight. So I'll get off of this microphone and turn it over to you all to take over from here. Let's welcome the notorious
smell your perfume through these western pines. I'm with your ghost again. It's a shame about the weather, but I know soon we'll be together, and I can't wait till then. I can't wait till then.
I would like to thank Notorious again for being here. Jason McKee, I think Katie Hayward somewhere around the side. I think I saw her look around. Thank you for your guidance with these kids and just getting their talent in front of us. Thank you so much, Notorious. We appreciate you. We have been fortunate to see talent from Notorious, and we also had a quartet earlier tonight with our students, and they're not here to hear that, but I'll make sure we pass on our appreciation for them. So Kevin, that concludes the superintendent presentation. We do have some gifts that we would like to get a picture with you. We have, since you love numbers, and I think you're going to appreciate this, something to hang up at home, and we'll give that to you to look at. Has all the numbers summarized there for you in a little spreadsheet. And then, just so I was talking to the mic so anybody watching can see this, this is a beautiful picture of all of the facilities that Kevin has been a part of throughout his time here, and even a bus on there for you. And
Yeah, let's get the whole board, and let's actually have the board come this way, and then I'm gonna take a picture with all of Kevin's fans in the background too. Yeah, we're gonna go right there, yep. Yeah, and Marcia too, come up, Marcia. No, I want the board there too. We want, yeah, board members, Marcia. Okay, do family first, all right. We'll just Photoshop Olivia and you're in.
right now, everybody else.
Everyone else.
Around here.
Board, join, Jonathan, Sean.
You all want to stand up in the back?
Yeah, everybody stand. In fact, the whole crowd that's with Kevin, if everybody will move this way, that would be amazing. Admin team, yeah, let's get in. All right. There may be a couple.
Tracy, we'll do a selfie with you in just a minute.
I'll do Jonathan as the selfie, and I'll jump in because he's literally the selfie master. I love that. All right. He really is. He's like the point five. He's the point five.
All right, tell me when I think I have everybody right there. All right, smile, say cheese. Say Kevin Wise. There you go.
Love it. Thank you.
Oh, this is not my sheet. Oh, yes, I had stuff spread out. It's like, where's my stuff? My friend, my invisible friend.
Well, before I guess we move on, we typically save board commentary for the end, but we recognize, we've got a lot of folks here tonight, so I think it'd be appropriate if we kind of took a little bit of our board commentary and fast forward it to the front of the meeting. So I'm gonna invoke executive privilege here and call on Mr. Orr first.
Man, wow. Didn't expect that. I was, trying to get my thoughts together. Just seeing, the tribute and thinking about Kevin. My wife and I moved to Mason in '07, so my kids, my family have not known you to not be on the board. So that's amazing. I've been here 17 years. Getting elected and volunteering for finance committee was, I don't want to use the word intimidating, but it was intimidating because Kevin Wise in the numbers. And it was one finance committee meeting and left and gone to work, and you just shot me a text, and it was, happy you're on board, proud of you. And it was like, I couldn't believe it, that I had earned your trust in the work that we were doing together. And so you're one of one. I think everybody in the room knows that. And that's, you have been needed, and you have served admirably. And I know that not because of how the district looks, but because of how your family looks. And your children love you and support you. Your wife works alongside of you. And there's no greater testament to the strength of character of a man than how his family walks with him. So thank you for sharing your experience with me. Being the junior guy on the board, it can be lonely, but you've never made it feel like that. So I'm grateful for you pouring into me. And like I told you at our last finance committee meeting, I have your cell phone number, so as long as you don't change it, good. So thank you so much for what you've done for this school district and getting us here. And I know you're not going anywhere, so see you again.
Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Ian. I'm going to actually go in order of seniority-ish here. So, Desiree?
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, a little curveball.
Well, my first impression of Kevin on the board was, you literally know every single employee of the district. He would drop names, and I'm like, how do you know that many people? Well, 2002 to today.
And
yeah.
Marcia.
And Marcia. Yes, and Marcia. Just the wealth of knowledge, and I always appreciated about Kevin is that you stood up for what you felt was right, and maybe it wasn't popular, and sometimes you said those hard things to say. It's like, oh gosh, I'm glad he said that. I didn't want to say that. And I really appreciate that, and especially as, a new board member coming in, and you don't know what to expect behind the closed doors and how the group gets along, and it's just so professional. Like, maybe we don't agree on everything, maybe we do, but it's just your leadership as the senior board member, just having so many years, and your experience and your knowledge. I'm gonna miss it. And just you, like, you're a cool guy, and you're, and you're a great dad. Your kids, I got to know Lauren a little bit, which has been a pleasure, and you're just really admired throughout the community. And thank you for all you've done, everything you've taught me, and all the many that came before me. So it's been a pleasure.
I'm going to go before I let you go, Connie, because I think you've got kind of the anchor leg here for us. But
You're going to hold that seniority thing.
He knows all the secrets.
I know, that's right. There's just not enough time to express the gratitude, that I have for what you've meant to me in my time on the board. I remember when I was first running, and the first time we met, I had coffees or meals with each of the board members that had time to meet with me, and right out of the gate, I felt an appreciation for your skepticism out of the gate, because I could tell that you were somebody who took this role very seriously and took this community, safeguarded the community with all the years and the time that you had put in, but also the just your family and your kids had gone through the schools. So I really appreciated the kind of the onboarding, questioning, and sort of quasi-interviewing process while I was trying to earn my way onto the board. And then I think one of the things I've just appreciated most about you in my time on the board is watching sort of your just calm and steady demeanor. Things could be going crazy in the world, in the district, and I look down the table, so to speak, and I know that we're still okay when you're just kind of steady, taking it all in, and there's nothing new under the sun. It might be new to me, it might be new to some of our administrators, but this has happened. Every time is a flat circle. It's happened at some point before, and you have been able to bring us in to draw on that experience more often than not. And on the very rare occasions when your eyes get wide and you kind of have eyebrows raised, then I know that it's serious, and we gotta scramble the jets and really kind of take a look at what we're doing and whatever the situation calls for. But Ian, Desiree, both of them have really touched on a lot of the things. Well, I think you can kind of see it, not so much in any individual action or decision, but just kind of a series of small layered decisions over time that have stacked up and led our district and our community to a place where we are today. And the proof is in the pudding when you look around the room and you look around the community at the job you've done. So thank you, and very, very much going to miss you along with our fellow board members. Connie?
No one that knows anything about this job or about Kevin could ever imagine that, thank you, that he could come into this and not do his best, not put forth 110% of commitment, 110% of the time. I remember the first time that I met you was in an interview process, and the board needed to fill a seat, and you were picked. And it was one of the best decisions that this board has ever made. The reverence, the respect that you hold for this job, the role model that you have been in that seat has been unwavering. It has been professional. It's been solid commitment and solid contribution. No one can say that Kevin ever stepped into this job for the visibility and the recognition. It was never about Kevin. It's always been about the well-being of all of you, all of our community, all of our students, all of our staff. And that focus is what has allowed you to become just an outstanding board member. Not because of myself, but I hold this board in high esteem over the things that we've been able to accomplish, the way our staff works with us. But Kevin, you have been a huge key piece of that, and in making that work year after year. And I was particularly touched. You were in the seat for about 2 years, I believe, and then it was time for you to run and get everyone in the community to put you in that seat. And we had some very fun conversations about running an election. I wasn't that experienced at the time myself, but at least I had done it one time. And we had a great conversation. We've had a lot of fun. Found out that we had a lot of very similar values, and it has been a complete pleasure to work with you on this board. And my thank you is to you for holding high and respecting so much every other board member you have worked with, as well as this board and its role as a whole over time. They don't get much better than you, Kevin.
Thank you, Connie.
Thank you.
Well, with that, we have typically taken a pause at this time in our meeting, but we have a few folks that have signed up to take the podium here during our hearing of the public, and so I'm going to ask that Larry Carvalho, you here still, Larry?
I'm still here.
All right. This is our hearing of the public portion of our meeting. We typically limit this portion of the meeting to a total of 30 minutes and 3 minutes per speaker. Occasionally, we will entertain motions to expand the time for hearing of the public if warranted, but I don't know that we'll need to based on the folks that we heard from in the video and also the folks that we have here tonight. So I appreciate everybody's indulgences here.
If I say everything about Kevin, it'll take me 30 minutes. But anyways, first of all, I didn't write any notes till I came here and started watching the wonderful video put up there to put some notes as to what I was going to speak. I've been here since 2003. I moved here from Lakota Schools. The first person I met was Tanya McCall, who helped my daughter shepherd it through the process starting here and then eventually graduated as a salutatorian. So the first thing I got to say, you know, the administration overall, the principals that were there and the whole school district did a great job, thanks to some of the school board members and not just Kevin, a lot of school members, board members. At the time I came here, the only other person who was sitting in this was Connie. And I remember the time that we went through passing of levies to keep the schools properly financed. And I do remember the time we used to go and put the signs out in the middle of the night and end the whole process with going to Waffle House. That was the end. So those are the good things. So I got to say, you know, my other than the 15,583 kids, 2 of them were my kids. You know, one of them is a software engineer, one of them is about to become an endocrinologist. Thanks to not just Kevin under his thing, but a lot of people went through that, other than, you know, what we did. And I got to also say thank you to the whole family. You guys had to go through a lot while Dad was here. I'm sure when you were in school, it was like, oh, my dad is the school board member, you know, so you always get something, you know, as a way you have to think. So Marsha and everybody, you guys really contributed to, or sacrificed maybe. And I don't know, Kevin, if you gave up any promotions for not moving out of Mason at Procter & Gamble, but you being the CFO of the emerging thing is a great accomplished in your own career, in addition to what you did. So overall, I would just say one thing while I finish in my 3 minutes, but you know, after you leave, I would like, you know, you to be somebody that every new school board member gets, like an onboarding person that you can have, you know, sometime, or when there are tough decisions, at least, you know, they can, hey, have a meeting and talk to you and get your sound advice, which you have collected for, you know, 20 some years over here. So thank you for your service. Thank you to your family for making the sacrifice. And that's it from me.
Thank you, Larry.
Our next speaker is Matt Steele.
Matt.
See if I can make Desiree cry. That's always
I
the goal.
noticed they put
This
it
is
right
for
in front of
you.
me.
This is for you.
Yeah, this is right.
Yeah, that's true. You might have to pass it over. So I just wanted to make a couple observations. One, on more professional side, looking back on your tenure on the board, Kevin, I'm struck in the presentation by what I think will be your big picture lasting legacy. And it's that slide where it talked about us being debt-free at the end of this year. But I want to make sure to anybody who's listening, that's not the end of the story. That's not the whole story. That's not half of the story. Any district could be debt-free very easily. You know how you do that? You don't spend any money. You don't invest in anything that matters. You don't make sure that you have world-class facilities or any of those things. Mason is world-class. Mason is a destination district for our families, for our teachers. Our facilities are first class. What we do here is important, and we're leaders in the world. And despite all of that, we're also debt-free. Kevin, your legacy, I think, will be that we've been able to achieve all of that and to be debt-free. The debt-free doesn't stand alone. That's not in itself a real accomplishment. On a personal note, seeing all these kind of older pictures, I saw a lot of pictures of myself there with you, and there are a couple observations. One, we both had a lot more hair at the beginning of our tenures. I'm a little annoyed that you had a lot more hair at the beginning of yours, but I can tell that I did have more hair in the beginning of my tenure too. But then two, I think back to how, when I came onto the board, how little I knew about what it meant to serve as a board member, and really so many things about life. And I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for your example and everything that you taught me as a board member about what it means to serve and to serve this community well, what it means to be a great dad, a great husband. I thank you for your friendship. I've told you many times that you're like a big brother to me, and I'm very grateful for that, and I'm glad you're not going anywhere in that respect, and I get to keep you as a big brother. And just a really good example, I think, of the kind of person that you are as a friend and as a leader is a couple years ago when I was kind of shocked that I lost my race for re-election to the board. I told close friends of mine that I can't see anybody. I can't be with anybody. But Kevin Wise is the kind of person that doesn't listen to that, and he showed up anyway, and he came into my house and he gave me a big hug and told me what I do next, and the very thing that you told me to do next was to show up. The very next day, continue to serve, and that's what I did. So thank you for that example. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, last speaker we have is Marsha Wise.
Aren't we supposed to say our name? And So I'm Marsha Wise. I live at 5312 Larkspur Lane in Mason. That would be a plot twist of all these years. 21 years. Wow. I remember just a little history. I remember Kevin coming home, and that was back when we got the Post-Journal, and he had opened it up, and there was a little ad in the Post-Journal that said that they were interested in hiring a new school board member for someone who was stepping down. And he said, gosh, I think it's just a couple meetings a month and maybe a lunch once a year. Easy. I was like, okay. That sounds good. That sounds doable. And then I remember he went to the interview, and Marianne Culbertson said it so well. He came home from the interview. I think there were a lot of candidates, and he said, gosh, that was a really tough interview, and I've got nothing. He said everyone that was there came from an education background, were superintendent, all the things, and all he was bringing was himself and his interest in money and finance and all that. So we were really shocked the evening that we got the call, and it was funny. We had the Reed kids over. We used to do a weekly, one of us would go out on a date and the other would take all the kids, and it was our kid day, and we had 6 little ones. I was pregnant, 6 little ones running around the house, and the phone on the wall rang. And I was irritated because that's when people called to ask if you wanted a credit card or whatever. And I was trying to get dinner, and I had screaming kids all around me, and I answered the phone. I was like, hello. Hello, this is Marianne Culbertson. I was trying to reach Kevin. And I was like, oh. And I remember he was in the other room, and I came around with my hand cupped over the phone, and I said, it's Marianne Culbertson. So he went upstairs, took the call. He could not take the call in the kitchen where we were. So that started it. That started all of it. And just a few short months later, you campaigned. We had our 3rd baby. Olivia was in the stroller going to all the poll greeting locations, and off we went. And it has been quite a ride. But we just are all the words that have been said tonight have been amazing and also true. Every vote and every voter behind that vote has meant something to you. You've never, ever taken your elected status for granted. You've taken heart in the trust that this community has put into you. I know that you challenged others, but I know you appreciated being challenged yourself. Many heated discussions, and this happens at home as well, and you have just the calmest ability to just hush a room and just get everyone back into the field and talking and engaging, and you have such a way about that. You've had some of your most rewarding days serving on this board, and also some of your most challenging. You've asked tough questions, and you've received tough answers. You have fought for every student and every member of this community and every employee of this district, and you are happy to share out with every one of them why you fought for them. And as you were doing all this, you were living in it too. It was great to know that when you would get the phone call from the angry parent who said, I didn't put money on my kid's account, and now my kid got the free lunch. You were able to say, guess what? We forgot that too, and our kids have had the free lunch. So it was great that you could experience what you were teaching. The kids and I are so proud of you. Your sister and her family are so proud of you. Your friends are so proud of you. Your mom is watching, who is so proud of you. Your mother-in-law is watching, who is so proud of you. And I know how proud your dad was of you and how much he would have loved to be here this day. I will finish with a common phrase here in Mason that we will always remember as we sail off into the sunset, and that is, once a comet, always a comet.
Those are all the forms that we have tonight for our hearing of the public. So with that, I will let everybody know that you are more than welcome to stay for the remainder of our meeting.
Can I ask for an executive adjustment?
This is highly unusual, but it is unprecedented. But I will
Break a rule.
I will muster the courage and yield the floor.
Normally we don't, after the hearing of the public, we don't engage, but I'm not really going to engage, because how can I mean, I'm a mid-range speaker in my own family, so, you know, it really all started with Marcia and me trying to figure out where we're going to end up, and the Wolves and the Reeds in that early story, you know, paving the way to Mason, and we came, and we're so glad we did. We appreciate everything that we've had a chance to experience here so far, and it's not ending. But most importantly, that our kids had the opportunity to really flourish. So Justin is here with his wife Ashley, and they're changing the world in cloud computing right now, doing some very, very cool things. Lauren is a mental health coordinator at King's, and she's changing lives every day as well. And Olivia, I understand, is watching. So Olivia, if you're watching, hi, sweetie. Olivia's changing the world. So, you know, I think one of the things I just want to say is a secret to what I've tried to do is take the job seriously, but not myself seriously. And, you know, in the world that we live in today, I think that's important to remember. And it served me well to give me a chance to have kind of a long-term look at things, not get too worried about the things that are happening on any given day. But at times it's been a challenge, but I've really tried. So on a night like tonight, it's really hard to not take myself seriously because of the outpouring from each of you. My sister, Robin, and Chuck, my brother-in-law, are here, and I'm sure my mom is watching. And yeah, I know, technology, but you know, she told me, I think I was giving a speech in high school at Lions Club, and she always would convince me, can I hear your speech? Can I hear your speech before you give it? I never wanted her to hear it. She was an English teacher, and that day I gave the speech, and she said, let me make some adjustments. One thing I want you to always remember when you're giving a speech, in order for your your audience to really appreciate it. One of the secrets is to keep the ending very close to the beginning. Cut out a bunch of the middle. And so, thank you, Mom, for that. But the friends here in the audience today, I couldn't be more appreciative. I told Mike Reed I haven't been to a board meeting where we're not celebrating Mike Reed. Now, here we are. I got one, not 7 or whatever it is. So, but you know, our friends have meant a lot to us, just personally, but they also have been a key part of us being able to be a part of leading, you know, this district. And we've tried to do it with honor and integrity all the way. And we are proud of it, but we're also very pleased with the existing board that we have. And Matt will be coming on the board to carry on this. And so we're very pleased with the firm foundation that we're on right now. And we are very bullish about Mason and the future of Mason schools. And so I want to thank the speakers in the video. That was really touching to hear from Vito and Carol and Mary Ann, and of course Lauren can give a good speech, and you know, it really means a lot to be a part of a night like this. And so, you know, I really appreciate it. Couldn't have done it without each and every one of you to get to this point, but I'm also very proud to hand this off. And you know, I do want to say this because it's a little awkward. You know, Connie was here before I was here, and she's going to be here after I'm here. So all of the things that were talked about, Connie's fingerprints are on as well. And I think that longevity, positive longevity, is an important part of a local board like this. And so I appreciate you, Connie, for that support as well. So, gosh, who did I forget? Did I remember to thank Marcia?
That's good.
Do it again.
It really started with her. She's just going off the Mason Schools Foundation board, so we're kind of going off at the same time, which I think makes it, you know, very special. But also, you know, she'll be right back at it, I'm sure, in some way. So I'll try to do the same. And but thank you very much for all coming and being a part of my journey and our family's journey and this whole community's journey. And thanks so much.
This is where we take a pause in our meeting. You're more than welcome to stay, everybody, but we also have some other things to vote on that aren't quite as exciting as the presentation. So. just finished our hearing of the public, and next on our agenda is item number 7, resolutions. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
This is a resolution, yeah, we've been working with a family on a special ed opportunity, and we've come to an agreement with them, and basically this resolution allows us to move forward with that agreement, execute that, and complete the process.
Thank you, Sean. Any other discussion? All right, Sean, please call the roll.
Mrs. Batchey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
5-0.
Item number 8, superintendent's recommendations, personnel items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
This is a little bit shorter than our normal because it's mid-year and we're getting ready to gear up for the hiring season. But if you scroll through, you'll see some of the updates that we have throughout here. We'll have more substitute teachers coming on board, and we have other folks that are either moving out of positions into new positions. So you'll see some of that show up midway through the document that we have posted here. But there's nothing out of the ordinary. These will be all normal hiring, and we just thank everybody for joining the team, and thank you, Tanya, for your work and getting everybody ready for that.
Thank you, Jonathan. Any other discussion? Sean, please call the roll.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mrs. Batchey?
Yes.
5-0.
Item number 9, we have our superintendent's new course recommendations. This is a first reading, so we do not move on this topic, but for those who are interested, you can find descriptions of these courses. There are links on the agenda online. If you're unable to navigate the website to find those links, just reach out to anybody in our administrative team or anybody on the board. We'd be happy to help point you in the right direction to get you to those. But Jonathan, did you want to speak, or Amy, did one of you want to speak to the process for where we are in these approvals?
Yeah, the process, the first reading is this month. The second reading will be at the end of January. The process is each of these come through a process with Student Achievement Committee. So Amy and her team, Dr. Brennan and her team, will review all of these, and then they bring them to our Student Achievement Committee. They have all reviewed these, given feedback, refinement has taken place, and now these are here. The reason there are social studies maybe more than usual is because it's going through the process of our social studies adoption cycle. And so you'll see those on there. Just because courses are being proposed does not necessarily mean the courses will actually be given. These are courses based on student enrollment. So once we approve these, if they go through a second reading and they get approved, then they go through the process with our high school. And if they are fully selected by our students, then those are courses that will move forward and make sure that we have allocated staff appropriately.
All right, but in the meantime, between now and the next meeting that we have, there's opportunity for our community to review these courses, ask questions about them,
course, yeah.
provide feedback, all that stuff.
Yep, it's always open. I know Dr. Brennan and her team would be happy to sit down. I'd be happy to sit down. So please, yes, if you have any questions about any of these, our teachers have put a lot of detail into them, so we're happy to share that with folks.
Great, thank you. All right, next item on our agenda is item number 10, Superintendent's Recommendations, Action Items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
4 items here, just really briefly. The 2024 graduation ceremony contract is on here with Cintas Center, so that will be taking place, and the date is on here, time, and we solidified that, which we're happy to see. So graduation coming up soon in 2024. The food service department, this is a compliance piece that we have to go through to make sure that everything is certified through our food service program, and so you'll see those documents attached here as well. The Hamilton County ESC contract is actually with St. Sue, but because we, all their financial decisions and discussions and pieces through Hamilton County ESC come through us, that shows up on our agenda here. And then School Links is a contract for a platform. We have used a platform for a long time, and we have had our own staff come to us and talk to us a little bit about the current platform, Naviance, and what it does and what they would like to be able to do with some of the documents. For example, when our students are applying for college, they put all their information into this platform. This That's the Naviance platform, and it does some other things. This actually does even more than that. It has some different pieces that help our students understand themselves better as they're getting ready to make decisions for the future. So this is called School Links, and so that contract is on here as well.
All right, thank you, Jonathan.
Thanks.
Any further discussion? All right, Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Govin?
Yes.
Mrs. Batchy?
Yes.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
5-0.
Item number 11, our treasurer's report. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion?
The reports we have on there for this month, we have our kind of our typical monthly financial reports for the month of October that we're approving, and then just our donations. Again, a thank you to our community members, both individuals, companies, other groups that are donating money to various programs in the district. Comment Cupboard seems to come up every month, so Casey Moran and Brian Moran were here tonight, so always thank you to them for the work that they're doing that supports kids. They started out at ME, it's really all around the district now, but the donations of people in our community help make those things possible, so thank you to all of our donors.
Thank you, Sean. Any other discussion? All right, Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mrs. Batchy?
Yes.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
5-0.
All right, item number 12 on our agenda is board action items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? I will note this is a addendum to our employment contracts with both our superintendent and treasurer, kind of bringing the language of those contracts into alignment with the practice and policy of the board in with respect to the evaluative process of those employees. Any other discussion? All right, Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mrs. Batchy?
Yes.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
5-0.
Item number 13, committee reports.
Yeah, so tonight we have four committees that have met. So I'll first turn it over to Tracy, Activities and Arts and Activities Council. Or Tanya. Sorry, go ahead, Tanya.
So Arts and Activities met on December 7th. We approved several out-of-state trips, Model UN, to go to Indiana University, University of Chicago. We also approved a competition cheer outing as well. We had a couple new clubs that we approved. We approved a Mason High School Pickleball Club. They were envious because the middle school had a pickleball club. So they're very excited. We also approved the Mason High School Pharmaceutical Sciences Club. So that one was very interesting, and sounds like we have several kids that are excited to join that. And then we just had some two additional stipends that are a part of our normal process: ski and snowboard club, and then a cappella choreographer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, Tanya. Athletic Council?
Yeah, do you want to jump in? And
Okay. So Athletic Council, we reviewed old business, which was basically the AB versions of the middle school sports teams now, which is a model that the high school football coaches and basketball coaches seem to favor with some tweaks. New business was approving an out-of-state trip for the track and field team, and then we're just trying to continue to have our student leadership teams both in the middle school and the high school, and so it was good. We're gonna revisit, potentially have another legendary coach enshrined in some way on one of our fields. So more to come out of athletics.
Awesome, thank you. Diversity Council.
We went over Jonathan actually took our team through the vision and our bold moves, and our council sort of took those things through the lens of our DEIJ principles, and just were kind of gut checking where we were on those. It was a really great collaborative opportunity to kind of make sure that we were using those in that way. And then we spent time starting to plan for our next Windows and Mirrors series, our Black History Fest, that we are really excited will be on February 29th at Mason Intermediate. One of the kind of ads that we're doing this year is we're going to be asking some additional Black-owned businesses to have booths, to have space there. So that will be something that community members, if you are connected to a Black-owned business, we would love to support you at Black History Fest.
All right, thank you. Mason Schools Foundation.
Sitting here thinking back to November 15th, I did not do a good job. I'm going, what happened to November 15th? Marsha, what did we do in November 15th? But I know moving forward, actually probably one big note is that Marsha Wise is retiring as our treasurer. So that is a huge piece for us. Marsha is one of our original members and really has shepherded, making sure that we get $100,000 worth of grants going back to schools every year. She is the person that I call and Leslie in my office and say, we need a check, and she's right there giving that. And so, but not only that, prepares our taxes, goes and counts pennies during a reading challenge, sets a tone for collaboration and vision. And so Marsha will be very, very missed by the foundation. We are hoping we can still pull her in as a reading challenge volunteer and all the other million of things that she does. But that is one of our big things. And then of course we are getting ready for reading challenge. So I say that partly in jest, but knowing that no one organizes things better than Marsha Wise. Literally, she is the most incredible, detailed, and yet can also think of the big picture. And so we're getting ready to head into that season, looking forward to that at MECC, ME, and Mason Intermediate School that has really become a tradition that sets a tone, that probably was a piece of a Laura Perrano and Marsha Wise original idea of how could we get the schools involved. And now it's just part of what we do. And so another tribute to the Wise family.
Thank you, Tracy. All right. Item number 14 on our agenda is our legislative update. Jonathan?
Yeah, just really briefly, one of the things I'll just connect back to, Kevin, is his helpful advice and modeling of being a thoughtful advocate. I would say that would be something that I really appreciate about the work, and that all advocacy and all of the work that we do in Columbus is built on relationships. And so that's something I've taken away and I've been encouraged by and I've tried to put into practice. And so some of the relationships that's led us to is just helpful insight to what's going on in Columbus. And right now, a lot of things are just stuck in place because maybe the break of relationships at the Columbus level. And so I think this might go down as one of the years where there's the least amount of legislation passed, which for us locally,
Good.
I've learned is good. That's good. So that's actually a good thing for us locally. And the big one that we've been watching closely is the House Bill 187, but there's just so much behind the scenes that are going on. They think that's going to, it's paused right now. So that we'll continue to watch it closely. That's the House bill that is connected to property values and what's going on around the state. So no new action with that. They did change some things, but they're doing that as part of the game back and forth. But nothing new to report at this point in time.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. Item number 15, administrator commentary. Tracy?
I too just want to thank Kevin for his wisdom, his counsel over so many years. I really loved how Marsha said that you ask the tough questions and also listen to what we had to say. Or what whoever was saying, and I have counted on your counsel and back and forth at times of what I think through some of the really challenging periods in our district's history, knowing that you never would have been a board member who would vote to put something on the ballot unless you were willing to put every bit of energy and might behind it. I'll cry as I talk about this, but in 2010, when we lost a levy, that was really hard because we knew that it was going to mean big things for the community that people loved. And you sat at the election that we lost, and sort of as Charles talked about, that the sun will come up tomorrow, and that I think was exactly what you said. We would then go and make hard decisions, and I think I fought with you and said, we need to go back, we need to put it on the ballot, because partly being really worried about what the cuts that were coming. And they were hard, and none of us loved some of the things, saying goodbye to some of the people that we had to lose. But what I know is getting through those hard times, and you helped guide us in that period that then brought forward what we have now. And so being able to watch and witness the growth of a community, be able to do that together, but it was also through relationships. And so personally, when I think of you and Marcia and your beautiful children, you were literally the very first person who called me when Jeff and I announced that we were pregnant with our daughter 25 years later after our son graduated with your son, Justin. And your counsel even to me then, because we were kind of holding our hands going, oh my goodness, how would this go? And you were so excited and so happy for us. And it's the investment that you make in people. It's the investment that you have made in this district through a calm and caring, but principle and steadfast. And that stability has served us well. You have been such a stabilizing force. And we're grateful that you're not going, that you and Marcia will continue to count on you and will continue to champion your kids and all their victories and hold on to the things that you've taught us and celebrate you as you enter this next chapter, knowing that it's going to be great.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thanks. Thank you, Tracy. Amy?
Well, Kevin, thank you. I haven't had the honor of serving with you for decades, as many have, but I'm so grateful for the time that I have had to work with you here in Mason. It's just clear, and we haven't even served on committees together, but from our time together, what's clear is you exemplify the concept of service, true service, service with integrity, service with wisdom. You share your gifts with the school district, and we all benefit from that. And you serve with great heart, and you've made such a difference in the time that I've been here, and clearly over the decades. If only every school board in America was filled with school board members like you. I wish they all were and had that benefit. So thank you. I think about 20 years is a long time, and I'm grateful you've given so much of your life and your family life to the district. Your legacy will last so much longer than those 20 years. It's a legacy of generations when you think about the decisions that you've made and how they will impact our future families and staff members. So thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
You were here before, and you'll be here after too, Tanya. Other one in the room.
One of those. Well, as a person who tries to be one of few words, I will just say that I have appreciated working with you for all of the 21 years that you've been here. That it's been a great honor to be able to have worked with you. I appreciate all the contributions that you've given to the district, but especially appreciate the support that you've given me as an administrator, both personally and professionally. So thank you for everything.
Thanks, Tanya.
Thanks, Tanya.
So in thinking about what to say tonight, after everybody else speaking, I felt like it was kind of a tough bill to fill, but I came up with it. Portrait of a Comet, Kevin Wise,
Yes.
right?
There you go.
I mean, when I hear integrity, I mean, it's just, Everything tonight spoke to your integrity. You know, communication, adaptability, empathy, all of the things. I missed one. Oh, critical thinking. Yes, so critical thinking, just the ability to take that financial acumen that's been mentioned, and we are all benefiting from what you have left. It is a lasting legacy. It really is the portrait skill, and the leadership, the citizenship, the learning, all of the hours that you've poured, all the sacrifices your family has made have been incredible. I'm thankful. I have a third grader, and I'm thankful for her as well. So thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kristen.
Mr. Wise, I've been here 8 years, going on 9, and you've always been the one board member on the facilities committee. And you probably don't realize when I came here, I stopped being a superintendent to come here to try to get things right, and quite frankly was just burnt out. And I think you of all people recognized that as you worked on that committee with me. And just, I hope you realize the times you stopped by and would just talk through things and think through things. I just hope board members out there watching tonight realize the impact they can have on the people that help run the school district. And you really had a big influence on me in a really tough time. I just wanted to thank you for that.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks.
I won't break the mold. I will also thank Kevin for all his years of service on the board. You know, I sat here tonight jotting down at least a few of the words that people had mentioned, and I don't know that I could come up with a new one, but I did want to rattle off at least a few of the things that we heard, and I will certainly agree with all these: financial acumen, passion, integrity, entrepreneurial, efficient, encourager, stood up for what is right, strength of character, calm. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and I think that all those things definitely describe Kevin. And one thing from a financial standpoint that I will add to that is strategic thinker. And one of the things that I really think is important and valuable in a financial role or in life in general is just being a strategic thinker, and I think that Kevin really embodies that. So many times I've heard him talk about long-term planning, and whether usually it's around finances or forecasts or whatnot. But really, even before we came in here tonight, we're in a work session. We're talking through other personnel type things, and he's engaging right to the end, and he's thinking strategically and thinking long-term. And so I've really come to appreciate that greatly about Kevin and what he brings to the table. And so I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention a few numbers here in my speech. But I know that you're really proud of the amount of debt that the district has paid down. And Matt kind of mentioned this, but when you came on the board, debt was above $114 million. And as we sit here today, it's down around $15 million. And again, it doesn't tell the full story, because from between 2002 and now, it wasn't just, okay, let's chip away. It was also, oh, by the way, there was a bond issue in there where we built MACC, and there was another bond issue in there where we added on to the high school, and there's been other projects, renovating the middle school and doing renovations in other buildings where there's been a lot of investment. And so when you think about starting at that number, ending at this number down here, and all the investments in there, I think that definitely embodies strategic thinking, long-term planning, and as I know as we go forward, those are certainly words that I'll always hear in the back of my mind of, okay, long-term planning, strategic thinking, and appreciate that you're your role model and your example in those areas.
Thanks, Sean.
Well, I'll really quick, just I've said a lot of words, but one of the things I'll just capture in a word: leadership. So leadership, when you think about all the things that people are talking about, and it takes leadership. And I do want to just pause and I want to thank you, Marcia, for sharing Kevin with us, because those are long evenings that we come together. People think they just show up for a regular board meeting, but we spend hours together. And so just thank you. And I know that goes well beyond that with the phone calls that you receive. And just we appreciate your family and just your sacrifice that you make. 'Cause I know that has a big impact on your family. But Kevin, your leadership has been inspiring, integrity, all the words that you've heard tonight. And you're a learner, which I love. You're always asking good questions, and you're sharpening us to be better leaders all the time. So I can't wait to continue the conversation. I have a couple committees that we're going to invite you to. So right away. So just like I think you told Matt or someone, show up. So make sure that you're ready to go. Take your own advice. And I'll end with, I had the great, just wonderful honor to be a part of the celebration of your dad. And when you talked about legacy, I mean, I'm telling you, legacy is, you have left a legacy. Your family continues to leave a legacy. So thank you. We appreciate you.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. Item number 16, board commentary. Gonna kick it to you again, Ian.
You got my wife to show up to a board meeting. 2 years. 2 years. Swearing in, nothing. Kevin's gone. What more can, come on. I can almost guarantee you in the next 2 years, nothing. So, there you go. Notorious was wonderful. That was a treat. Got to see them at Elegant Holiday, which the wife and I had a hiatus for a few years because our two oldest, who were in choir, no longer were, and then got to enjoy that program. Holiday season, I think it's the 6th day of Hanukkah.
It is
6th night of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah. We're half a week maybe left to winter break. So. Hang in there, guys. I know this is a squirrely time of the year where everybody's kind of got the itch to break loose, but hang in there. Thank you guys for our wonderful gifts. It's very much appreciated. Dude, gonna miss you, man. Like that's, I don't know, 8 o'clock, finance committee meetings. That's gonna be tough without you, brother. So enjoy it. You've earned it. Look forward to growing our relationship.
Thank you, Ian. I'm going to stick with the order we went earlier tonight and kick it to Desiree.
Well, yeah, thank you, Kevin, for allowing us to celebrate you tonight. I know that you probably weren't aware of everything, I'm guessing. He would have put up a fight, I'm guessing. But it's just been an honor serving with you, and thank you. Thank you for all you give to our community and all you poured into us as board members. I just really appreciate you, and I'm going to miss you sitting right there.
Thank you, Desiree. I wanted to jump in and note that I heard Sean say we've got about $15 million in debt as we sit here today, and when you think about bringing that down from $114 million when Kevin came on the board, that's $2002, right? Do the math on time value of money adjusted with inflation and all that. That's just wild to think of that amount of time that both Connie and Kevin have been on this board and guided our district. And to that point, as I read a Business Courier article today about the second $50 million donation to my alma mater, Xavier University, in the past 2 years. If there are any wealthy benefactors out there that just want to clear the books for this school district, it's a bargain. $15 million to get us debt free. That'd be great. But also, I think I just wanted to clarify the record. I won't have the court reporter read it back to me, but I did think I heard Tracy say that 25 years after her son Jacob graduated with Kevin's son Justin, they welcomed him in the world. It was not 25 years after graduation. There was 25 years between those births. So, as amazing as that feat is, I didn't want that to. Sarah and Abraham story over here.
This is true.
Wow.
Just in
That's
case.
the first time I've ever seen Tracy at a loss for words, ever.
Wow.
Just before we vote on the minutes at the next meeting, I want to make sure that was reflected accurately.
Thank you for clarifying.
You bet.
I won't be there to vote. So.
Yeah, no, you bet. Kevin, I think there's so many things that I'll take away from my time with you on the board. I'll be honest, the best ones I'm going to selfishly keep for myself or out of the out of the public record, so to speak, but I've just really appreciated your mentorship, your friendship, the model that you have set as a board member, but also just as a a community leader, a father, a husband, a son, and somebody who I hold in high esteem and in many ways try to emulate in my life. And going to miss your presence on the board, but look forward to your continued friendship and guidance as a member of our community. Connie?
Well, I just wanted to thank the chorus tonight too, Notorious. They always do such a fabulous job, and a cappella is as hard as it looks, in my opinion, but they always do a fantastic job. And yeah, Kevin, we've had a lot of fun tonight, recalling some great memories, and I'm glad you're not going anywhere. I'm glad we'll still have access to you and your family, the entire family. It is a family pitch-in when you do a job like this, and you guys have not only just shared him, you've pitched in to support the work that we do here, and that's just, it's wonderful, and it's very much appreciated. It is always an adjustment and difficult to lose someone that you admire and are friends with, and then all of a sudden they're not there in that same role. And it will be an adjustment, and it is a little painful, but life goes on, and we know that you will continue living and doing what is your best life, and we wish nothing for the best for you and your family moving forward. And I'll add to, I hope everyone has a happy winter break. Do some things with your family, love them, spend time with them, and get them ready to come back to school after break.
Thanks, Connie. Kevin?
Well, I also want to just compliment Notorious. I didn't see Jason. He was kind of doing what directors do, slipping behind there. But, wow, that was incredible. And just really great feeling to see kids being able to use their talents. And so thanks for inviting them. I think that was terrific. And the strings at the session before were just incredible too. I had a chance to thank them. I'm not sure they knew why they were there, but I thanked them anyway. I think as a musician, sometimes you just show up and sing. But really appreciate that. Also, just as you wind up another semester, I just wish everybody the best. And thank you for what you're doing. Each of you have had some kind things to say about me, and I've patiently taken it and appreciated every word you say, but I'm not going to go around the room again because I know Todd needs to get home, and again, trying to keep the beginning and the end together. But truly, all those accomplishments it was nice of you to say regarding me, but couldn't have done it without you. Each step of the way. Tanya, from the beginning, she's seen it all. She's probably shaking her head multiple times going, what is he saying now? And I appreciate the patience to kind of play it out. And, I think 3 superintendents and 3 treasurers. And as somebody pointed out, 14 board members. I've learned something from every single one of those board members, all 14 of them. And Connie's been there through it with me each step of the way, and certainly learned a lot from you, Connie, as we've done it. I do have a couple things to add to the record as we go, so indulge me for a second if you don't mind. We've mentioned keeping the long-term focus, so this is for each of you guys, and Matt, if he's watching. The long-term focus kind of allows you to play out scenarios that don't, it's very easy when you look at short-term to just look at all the negative things that are going to happen. But long-term, it opens up some of the things that can go your way as well. And so that long-term focus is important. Don't get caught up in the cultural wars. They drag us in the ditch. focus on Mason, making Mason the best we and our staff can collectively make it. There's a ditch that lots of people are getting dragged into right now. Urge you to not get into those things. You know, I know it's kind of nerdy, but the forecast is the secret. If you know, it's that long-term focus, but our ability to forecast is our ability to plan, and our ability to plan means all the hopes and dreams we want to do, we have a way to do. And that's included both the operating and the capital forecast, and that's something that I think we've all learned how they fit together, and they allow us to have more flexibility. So keep those alive. Safety can't be an afterthought, can't be doing after action. We gotta always think about, you know, how to make sure our school is safe and inviting every single day. Can't be an afterthought. Electives are only valuable if our students excel at the basics. So we have a lot of interesting classes that pique students' attentions. And one of the things we want to do is pique their interest and get them fired up about something, and that is an important thing. But we got to still put the same level of focus on the basics and sharpen those basics. Don't let that fall out of focus for kind of the newest ideas that may come along. And then I decided to call this gravity in local politics. Remember that. Gravity is an immovable force. You can't stop it. And we, as school boards, are at the bottom of the hill. And what that means is, and this is for anybody that might be watching or may watch in the future, the only place, when you think about it, who votes to tax themselves are schools. That's the only place. That is not by happenstance. That is because our friends in Washington and our friends in Columbus have learned over the last several generations that, hey, if we push obligations down to the schools, those silly people will just vote for them to tax themselves, and we won't have to tax them. Because do a thought experiment and ask yourself, how do you think we just had issue 1 and issue 2, all kinds of action what if we had issue 1, which was, hey, we're going to raise the state income tax? How do you think that would go over? That would not go over well, and they know that. So they pull dollars away from us, and they force that obligation down, and they force us to tax. So the reason I just bring that up is to remember our place. It's an important place to be, because we have to carry that load, and we can't change it because it's gravity, but we have to carry the load, and we have to do it with that planning and so forth that I was talking about. All right, that's a picture of Marcia. Think of taxes on the micro level. It's really hard. Everyone always talks about school funding is complicated. Reduce it down to how much does an average Mason taxpayer pay on their property taxes, and then look at what are you proposing that change be, and let your gut tell you the answer, and that answer will be correct. And it's very hard to it's very easy to justify things when you just put it in the top line dollars. Think about it, it greatly simplifies school funding when you do it that way. Don't just blindly comply with mandates. You, our staff, our teachers, and our community are better than Columbus and Washington will ever be. So when mandates come that you don't like, keep on the table that we won't do those mandates. I don't know how, but a lot of times those mandates dissipate because the political will goes away. But don't just assume that that's something that has to be done, because you all know better, and you got to trust your gut on what those things are. Because, by the way, they come with that other one where I say gravity. They also make you pay for them. So even if they tell you they'll keep you whole, they still make you pay for them. Our students have parents, and we're their partners. I won't say anything more about that. And then I'll end with this one. Remember the market. The market for talent, the market for students' futures, the market for everything that we do, we have to continue to remember that that's important. and we can't fight it. We have to understand what it is. So when we have shortages of things, it means we're not paying enough. When we have surpluses of things, it means there's opportunities there. I know there's other forces at play that are also considered, but that's something that I think a lot of times in a position like this, you just forget. You just assume that, hey, this is the way it has to be, and so that's the one I'll leave that on. Those are my official, in the record advice for my friends here. But I feel like we're leaving this at this. It's the right time. It's one of the best boards we've ever had. Matt comes on. It'll continue on. You guys have the right demeanor. You have the right leadership. And the right staff and support, and just incredible teachers in a community that values and has high expectation for education. And that mixture is what actually makes Mason go. So keep nurturing it, keep building it, and this community will continue to grow. So thanks for everything everybody said tonight. Thank you to Marcia for putting it all together. I can't talk more about that. We have the vice mayor in the room. He stayed till the end. Appreciate that, Ashley. And with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Gavin?
Yes.
Ms. Abachi?
Yes.
Ms. Ewing?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
We are adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.